Angela Cudger with Legacy Holistic Health Institute. As soon as you jump on this live stream, let me know that you can hear me and let me know that you can see me. And then I will start giving out the information. So as soon as you jump on here in the comments, if you could let me know that you can hear me and see me, we will get the information started. So tonight we are going to be covering the information you need for the 11/11/22 portal that is happening on tomorrow. Now there is a reason why I want to give you this information tonight. So like I said, as soon as you jump on here, hit me in the comments with the fact that you can hear me and the fact that you can see me. And I'm going to double check and make sure I'm actually live in the group because I had a couple of issues. Facebook updated some stuff, so I had a couple issues trying to get on here. So let me know that you guys can hear me and that you can see me, because I think there may be just a little bit of a delay. I'm going to take a moment while you guys are posting in the comments. She says, I can hear and see you. Okay, hey, Suzanne. Okay, great. I can hear you, see you. Hey, Jake Jenkins. Hey, Natasha Nalin. Hey, Natasha. Natasha, where are you located now? Let me know that as well. All right, good evening. So I can see you guys. So I'm going to assume that I'm live in the right place. Give me just a second, because there's a ton of people trying to get into this group tonight. This is not live anywhere else. It cannot be shared out anywhere else because this group is private, you guys. So give me just a second and let me let these people in this group so that they can actually see this live stream as well. All right. So we'll have some more people joining us. Okay, so tonight, you guys, we're going to talk about the 11/11 portal. I wanted to go live and actually share with you guys some slides. My lights are blinking on and off because it's kind of storming where I am here in Sewanee. So I'm going to try to get through this content, you guys, without the lights kind of going off. So if you see kind of that black kind of thing is flickering. Now, if you have tagged someone, you want to make sure that they are actually in this group. Now, if we get disconnected, you guys, if we get disconnected, I promise I'll go live maybe early in the morning or something like that to try to cover this content so that you can have it, because you want to know what to do over the next 7 days. It's important that you understand how to use this energy. Now, with that being said, if you're tagging people in the comments, I have to tell you, if they are not in this group, they will not see your tag. So what you can do, and it's totally up to you, is go out of this group and go to my timeline and tag them under there so that they can get the link. Otherwise, they're not going to see anything that's happening in this group. And if you want to later on, after you get the information and you prepare your stuff, I want you to then go back and maybe tag them and invite them to this group. So you can invite people to be able to be in this group because it's invite only, but you cannot tag them in here because they will not see it. So if you tag someone and their name is grayed out, they can never see your tag, okay? She said I invited them as well. Hopefully they are friends and they're following. Yes, okay. So you guys see the lights kind of blinking, so I'm going to jump into the content. My goal was to share the screen tonight. Facebook had an update with the software, so I can't use the software that I've been using to share the slides with you guys. But what I will do when this live stream is over, I promise, as long as there's power, I will upload the slides so that you have them, because you will need slides for this information. So you can follow along in the comments and type the stuff out that I'm saying, but you definitely need the slides. Real quick, in the comments, there is a pinned comment there. If you want affirmations that are specifically about this 11/11 portal and manifestation during this time, you want to text #affirm to me so that I can have it on myself, so I can have you on my cell phone. And every day, sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon, I will send you out an affirmation, okay? And you will be able to use that over these next 7 days. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about what portals are for the first few minutes. Then, you guys, I'm going to go into what you need to be doing for your physical body, specifically over these next 7 days, to harness the energy of this portal, okay? And then at the end, I'm going to tell you some things that you can specifically do over these next 7 days so that you can actually start to move into another timeline. Now, I am going to explain a meditation to you, but just know in this group, if you search active meditation, it's probably about 4 or 5 years old. But what I'm going to be explaining to you is a version of that specific meditation. So there is a timeline meditation, and I'll explain to you guys what I mean by all this stuff. Like, what do you mean by timeline? I'm talking about the timeline of your life from the time you were a child to where you're going, even beyond today. Okay, so for some of you, it's going from childhood, and you can see all the different things you had along that timeline. It's like a roadmap of your life. And then you can begin to project and see where you will be when you're 55, where you will be when you're 66, what you want to achieve by the time you're 40. This energy allows you to jump timelines. That is why this is so important. And we'll talk about why you want to be able to have this kind of information. Now, when we're talking about portals open up all the time. There are, how many of you know that some people are born with major opportunities in front of them, and some people not so much, right? Some people have to put in a lot more grit in this lifetime. Some people have obstacles stacked against them since birth. Some people have raise your hand in the comments if you like, yeah, I had to hustle it a little bit, right? A lot of us are here to do that. A lot of us feel like, let me correct my language, a lot of us feel like we are here to do that. One of the things that we want to be aware of, and I want you to start doing, if you're someone in your family who has no idea what portals are and how to use them and all those different things, I want you, with this 11-11-22, and I'm going to explain to you why in a moment, I want you to be the person who understands portals in your family lineage. When you understand portals, you understand that it's not always who you know, but it is what you know and how you use what is available to you to begin to manifest the life that you want. Okay? So it's not always who you know, but it's what you know and how you choose to use that information to then begin to change your life. We always have opportunities known as portals that open up for us all the time. Throughout the year, every year there is an 11-11 portal. Every year there is an 11-11 portal that opens up. When these portals open up, they are there to vent the energy of the earth. I want you guys to understand that Mother Earth is a living, breathing thing, okay? This planet lives and it breathes and it mothers us. Write that in the comments. Mother Earth lives, she breathes, and she mothers us, okay? And the reason why she does this is because some kids come out the gate running and other kids need a little bit more support. These portals open for those who need more support. These portals open for those who need more support, and they don't have a lot of time to come up, okay? That is why these portals open. They open up so that Mother Earth says, I'm leveling the playing field and giving everybody an opportunity to jump timelines and come up. Mother Earth lives, breathes, and she mothers us. Now, if we understand how this works, mothers tend to give us everything that they feel like we need to be successful. The portals are one of those things that we receive on a regular basis. Sometimes each month we get one to open up to help us. So like, for example, we've got one tomorrow. And we've got another one on 12/12. And then I think we've got the last one of the year on 12/22, which is why we will be in Costa Rica for that particular portal. Now, if you want information about Costa Rica and how to get there and be there with us as we advance and move through this portal, let me know in the comments and we'll make sure you get the information. Or you can text #retreat to that number as well, and I'll make sure you get the information. And so when we're talking about this, portals open up to vent the energy. They open up so that we are able to understand that there are opportunities that are allowed or that are given to us that we can then use to absolutely level the playing field. And so when we look at this, we're talking about an influx of energy that happens, and it happens in a way that is that is serendipitous. It happens in a way, so you'll see people say, oh, the 11/11 is the most 11/11 is the most luckiest, is the luckiest day of the year. It's not necessarily about luck. It's about Mother Nature. It's about Earth opening up to allow everyone else to catch up. Now, we are catching up not just spiritually, but we are catching up physically, and we are beginning to use our multidimensionality. Now, I know some of you are like, I don't understand all of this. I'm going to help you understand it. When we're speaking about multidimensionality, everything that you want, I'm going to cover up my slides real quick because sometimes I get distracted. Everything that you want, everything that you're desiring, every thought process that you have, you already exist somewhere within that manifestation. So say, for example, you want to live in a certain neighborhood. There is a version of you that exists that already lives there. These portals open up for you to skip timelines, move from one dimension to another, and possess that new reality. That is why these portals open up. So for some reason, so sometimes you'll see some people in one situation, and then it seems like within an entire year their life is completely different, or they look completely different. It is because they jump timelines. And a lot of times when we are on our spiritual journey, if you're someone who meditates, if you're someone who prays, a lot of times you jump timelines and don't even realize it. Most people don't look at the evidence, and I'm going to teach you guys about how to do that. Most people don't look at the evidence of themselves jumping timelines and understanding, okay, I'm in a new reality, so it's time for me to start acting like I'm in a new reality, right? And then everything else starts to move and shape itself around that reality. The opportunity to live in that neighborhood just shows up for you, right? Anything that you're looking to manifest just shows up for you. And so I want you to be able to understand, if you get nothing else from tonight, how these work and how you can actually use them. So we are not just up leveling ourselves or moving into another space spiritually, meaning that we can have deeper meditations. We can have a deeper prayer life with whatever overarching deity we choose to deem over our lives. Not only that, but we can also change our lives physically. We can change the shape of who we are physically. We can there are a lot of things about the human being that gets an upgrade every single time this portal opens. And if you're paying attention to your physical body, you can feel it. You can feel it. You can start to feel all of your cells like they're buzzing, like they have this newfound energy that is at your disposal to use, right? And so I don't want to jump into any of the symptoms. I know that there's a video in this tribe that goes through the symptoms of when your DNA and when your body is getting an upgrade. And I'm going to talk to you about some things that you can do over these next 7 days to facilitate that upgrade in your DNA, okay? Now, when we're talking about this, like I said, the portals can be effective at shifting timelines. When you think about a portal, I want you to think about growth, okay? When you think about a portal, I want you to think about growth, because that is what it's coming to allow you to do. Now, that being said, growth is not always comfortable. It is not always comfortable. I remember the first time I jumped timelines, and I remember the first time my DNA got an upgrade. And when I tell you that the way your intuition activates is you go from just having a gut feeling to being able to feel your thought process, or being able to feel how you should act in a situation through all of your cells. Little bit tough to explain, but you can feel your cells buzzing, right? I guess that's what people have when they have like a caffeine high. I wouldn't really know because I don't drink a lot of caffeine, but it has that feeling to it. You can feel your DNA abuzz, right? And so there are these subtle differences that you notice around you. Like for me, it was different things that were around my home that were just no longer there. And I could swear to you there was a crack in the road right here at this particular spot in the street where I live. And it's like it just no longer exists, like it disappeared overnight. You will start to see subtle things. Things in your home may move and you didn't move them, right? It's just not there anymore. This is evidence. You'll get subtle evidences that you have jumped timelines, and you want to pay attention to this, because then you want to position yourself for all the other things that you're looking to manifest. It can be a little off-putting at first. It can be a little scary, but after a while, you understand that this is something that you called forth at a time where everything on the planet was a conduit for you to manifest this thing. And you just happen to call it forth at this time, tomorrow instead of the day after. You just happen to call it forth at that time. And so the goal over these next 7 days is to understand that now you know that this energy is coming tomorrow, right? And for some people who have been preparing for this, they started preparing with that last new moon. And so they've been this energy is active 7 days before this portal opens, and it's active 7 days after this portal is open. Now you're going to take some time in between that time, and I'm going to share with you what to do on each day, but you're going to take some time to really kind of pull away and take some time to yourself. I cannot stress this enough. It is critical what you let into your mind at this time. You have to be so careful of what you allow people to speak over you, what you allow people to say in your presence, what you allow people to bring into your presence. It is so critical that you understand that, they can do whatever they want 7 days after this. But over these next 7 days, if you have to turn off notifications, shut them off. If you have to get offline for a little bit, get off. If you have to do whatever you need to do to take control of anything coming into your psyche, because everything that you're allowing in and everything that you allow in your thoughts to continue to, if it is something that controls the way you feel, it will control your next manifestation. I don't care if it is something that makes you happy, right? I don't care if it is some goofy joke. Spend your time doing something that will allow you to manifest something that you want. Every bit of this time is critical. I cannot stress that enough. Cannot stress that enough. And so when we're looking at this, right, when we're trying to understand this, you must be aware of the power of this energy that is surrounding you right now. You must be aware of it. And so one of the things that I want to also share with you is that the portal, we want to also look at a portal as growth, but when we're specifically looking at 1111, this is also a gateway. So some people say the two ones are like a gateway in between. Some people say 11 on this side and the 2 ones on this side creates a gateway, right? In addition to that, every portal, because each year is different, right? 2022, 2023, 2021, right? When we're specifically looking at this year adds up to a 1 year. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 2 equals 1, right? And so, or it equals 10, and it's going to, then you deduce that to a 1. Ones are all about new beginnings. That is the reason why I put in my post that this is the time for those of you who want to generate generational wealth. For those of you who want to generate generational health, this is the time that you start that. This is the time that you declare that you are the person in your family lineage that will have this happen for you. There are people in your family that are not on this live stream, and they may never get this information. If you are here, you are a representative of the lineage, of your ancestors, of the people in your family, and there is a reason you are getting this information, okay? And so you decide what you will do with this information. One is for new beginnings. What that means is, I want you to understand this, and I don't want you to miss it. What that means is Mother Earth is opening event. Opening event. Leveling the playing field, right? It's been a little toxic with these midterms. People have been, these politicians are going out, they're going for the jugular to get these votes, right? And so that energy needs to be vented, right? Something new needs to sweep into the planet. That's happening on tomorrow. And you get to decide when that old energy sweeps out and the new energy rushes in, what will you begin? What will you begin? If you don't have something to write with, it's time to either get something to write with or put this in the comments. Here's what I want you to write down. I want you to write down 3 things that you will completely stop. 3 things that when this portal opens up, you will completely stop. That you're declaring you will completely stop it. You won't turn back, but you will completely stop. They could be habits. They could be whatever you want them to be. They could be people. 3 things that you will completely stop. Underneath that, I want you to write down 3 things that you will start to do. And from tomorrow forward, you will continue to do these things. Because this is about new beginnings, and you're now in the energy of support to be able to sustain the new habit. So 3 things that you will stop, 3 things that you will start, and then I want you to write down 3 things that you want to see come to fruition over the next 90 days. 3 things that if you could jump timelines that you want to see come to manifestation for you over the next 90 days. And I want you to start asking for some stuff that you're scared to ask for. I want you to ask for some things that you're afraid to ask, that you're terrified to ask for. That it will turn your life upside down in a good way if you ask for it. 3 things that you're going to stop, 3 things that you're going to start, and 3 things you want to see come to fruition as a result of that over the next 90 days, over the next 3 months. Okay? So drop that in the comments. I see you guys are dropping that there. Yep. 3 things you want to start, stop. Yep. So 3 things you want to stop, 3 things you want to start, and then 3 things you want to bring into reality, your new reality over the next 90 days. Okay? And so the next thing I want us to be aware of is that on portal days, like tomorrow, when you're writing these things, the veil lifts. Now remember, in October, around Halloween, I told you guys the veil is very thin with this last new moon we just had, because we got a full moon now. The last new moon we just had, the veil was very, very thin. Tomorrow, the veil is removed completely. And when I say veil, here's what I'm talking about. When you come into this human existence, before you get here, even if you live several lives, I'm not even getting into, we can do a whole nother live stream on lifetimes and things like that, and how to calculate how many times you've been here. This is my 963rd lifetime. I've been here a lot, right? And so when we're talking about this, you have a connection to source. You have a connection to the divine, a direct connection that allows you to instantaneously manifest. There's no kind of dimensions or anything like that hold you back. Like if you're thinking in 3D, a lot of people can't grow because they still think in 3D, and we'll talk about that before we get off, right? Because the energy that's happening tomorrow is 9th dimension. 9th dimension removes any type. 5th dimension and 4th dimension, they deal with time. When you're talking about 9th and 10th dimension, there are infinite possibilities available to you. You have a direct line to source, to God, to infinite intelligence. That happens tomorrow. You don't want to be on TikTok. I'm sorry. You don't want to be scrolling, right? You want to be clear on what it is you're asking the divine for and what you've been asking for and you want to bring into fruition. Don't miss tomorrow scrolling aimlessly. Don't do it. Tomorrow, if no other day, take some time and be clear on what you want, okay? And so you want to know that the veil is thin around these times to get the support, but the veil is completely lifted tomorrow. Tomorrow it's gone. It's gone for that day, and it will slowly start to thicken back up over these next 7 days. Tomorrow is where you can be sustainable, anything you want to do. Tomorrow's the day, okay? That veil is completely removed. It leaves every year on 11/11, and a gateway opens up for you to walk through, right? in your mind, and for you to understand that your mind and how you feel is how you transport yourself into the manifestation of the next life you want, or into the manifestation of the thing that you want, right? Your mind is what gets you there. This is why it should not be occupied with anything else tomorrow except what you want. Okay? All right? Take some time to do this. You don't have to do this the entire day, but you need to take some time to make sure you acknowledge that this portal is open and you know exactly what you want. She says, I don't know what I'm afraid to ask for. I am very outspoken. So it's less about being outspoken and more about what your purpose is. And if you're already walking in that, you're already living that, then kudos to you. A lot of people aren't. So that's kind of what that means. It's not about like a fear of things, right? Because there's a lot of people who are very, very successful in different things and they live in their purpose, but there are still things at an even higher level that they are terrified to ask for, that they are terrified to manifest, right? And so 7 days of amazing work with clarity and asking big. Absolutely, Chandra, because you're setting the tone over these next 7 days. When that veil, and like I said, that veil comes down over you when you are born. When you come through a birth canal, boom, veil comes right down over you that separates you from source. And over this lifetime, you work your way at getting back close to source. You work your way at accessing the God within you. You work your way at understanding the infinite intelligence that you have access to and how to actually use it. Okay? And so tomorrow, that veil lifts and you get an opportunity to be back into the mindset, into the space, or access to this as if you were still with source, right? Make your demands clear. Make your manifestations clear. And then as that veil thickens back up, because it will, over the next 7 days, what will happen is you'll find that you think you want to settle back into this 3D. But I want you to understand and I want you to believe that you have escalated to 9th dimension. Here's what that means for those of you who you know, you're kind of a roller coaster person. You think you can do it today and then tomorrow you don't think you can do it. Or you think you can do it today and then tomorrow you're still talking to the people that ain't doing it. You think you can do it today, and then tomorrow you go align with the thing that has nothing to do with what you've asked for. You think you can do it today, and then tomorrow you're scared to send that email. Okay? Here's what I'm going to tell you what that means. When you escalate beyond the 5th dimension, you transcend time. Right? You are asking for what you are thinking about instantaneously. Right? You are asking for what you are thinking about instantaneously. So you can't play back and forth with this because you have shifted, right? So you need to be clear on what you want and you need to stand firm on that. And then after that 7-day period, you're going to feel like, I don't know if this is happening or not. It is. It is. Look for the evidence that you've jumped timelines, because you will have. Look for it's subtle, very, very small things, you guys. Very small things. Like for me, where I was living at this one time, I could have sworn there was an outlet on a specific wall. It was gone. Completely gone. There were little subtle things that changed. And if you look up what it means to jump timelines and what it means to move into dual realities, because the person you are right now and the person you want to be simultaneously exist. You have the ability to possess what you're looking for now. And because a lot of people have a hard time understanding, how do I actually do that? Because I've been trying to do this for years. How do I do that? Tomorrow when the veil lifts, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. You think about it tomorrow. You give yourself an opportunity to think on these things tomorrow. You give yourself an opportunity to meditate on these things tomorrow and feel it tomorrow. And then it will start to facilitate itself over the next few days, right? She says, you have to stand firm and look for the subtle changes. Absolutely. She said, I believe, therefore I receive. Right. Okay. And so this can be used to effectively shift timelines. If you're looking for a timeline meditation, there's one in this group. Highly suggest you go through that meditation. But I am going to explain to you how to actually do it. 1111, like I said, it has the energy of 1, signifies new beginnings. I'm just making sure I go through this and I don't skip anything. Portals open to bring harmony and balance. We've been out of balance on this planet for a long time with these midterm elections. Let this portal open tomorrow. We need that vent to open. We need fresh new energy to come in. We need some powerhouses to be able to manifest some different things so that they completely shift the planet at large. You are one of those people if you're watching this live stream. Jumping timelines is possible. Like I said, look for the evidence of that. Don't ignore it. You're looking for the evidence to keep you to keep your faith, right? You're looking for the evidence in these small changes to keep the faith, you guys, okay? You're not waiting on a miracle anymore. Tomorrow is your miracle. Tomorrow is your miracle. So make sure that you're available for it. Make sure you're available for it, okay? And then make sure, and we'll go through this at the end, so I won't jump into that just now. We are currently able to download the codes of ninth dimension. Ninth dimension, like I said, it is when we're speaking metaphysically, the 9D is more of a power structure. So some of you are going to be able to harness a will that you never thought you'd have tomorrow, right? It brings forward a more powerful human structure of who you really are and your ability to be powerful in your right as a human being on this planet and what you are capable of bringing to this planet. That power starts to stand up in you starting tomorrow if you allow it to, okay? And then when we're talking about this, these are usually when a person moves to 9D, they tend to be extremely successful. They become extremely successful at whatever the hell it is they're thinking about. So you want to be clear on what is going through your head and where you're giving your energy tomorrow, okay? You want to be around things that are inspiring. You want to be around people that are inspiring. You want to be around things and listen to things that lift you up, right? 9D does not give you a chance to say, oh, I didn't mean to ask for that. 9D doesn't allow you to go back and fix it. Your thought comes to fruition. Watch your thought processes, okay? And it's an unusual dimension because it garners no cause and effect other than what you desire. You think it, it's coming. All right? So there's no safety on that gun, if you will. You don't have the opportunity to say, oh, let me think this through. No. Be careful what you think about. Put yourself into the space around things that inspire you and that empower you. Okay? Seriously. And then there is no karma attached to this, okay? I wanted you guys to know that as well. So when we're looking at the rest of this, let's talk really quickly about, well, how do you manifest this in your body? Your body's going to be the gateway that gets you there. Body's going to be the gateway that gets you there. So there's a few things you need to know. The number one thing is water. Water is a powerful conduit of energy. Water has the ability to expand if it's frozen and contract or go to nothing if it's heated, right? When you put water in your body, it becomes a powerful conduit. We are over 60% water as human beings, and your brain, a large percentage of your brain is water. Drink your water over these next 7 days. Drink what you're supposed to and more than you need to over these next 7 days. Hydrate well over these next 7 days. That your thought processes and all the downloads, all the 9D energy, everything that you're allowing into your being, water is a conduit to then allow that to either expand, contract, and keep things fluid within you, okay? You want to make sure that you're eating fresh and you're eating high water content things. These are going to be your vegetables. These are going to be your fruits. That's great for people on here who are already vegan, right? So you want to make sure that you're eating high water content things. For some of you, you might want to start a cleanse, right? For some of you, this is a great time to do that. We just got past a full moon, right? We just got past a full moon. And so that is the time for releasing, eliminating, getting rid of, right? And so this is a great time to institute a 3-day cleanse, 4-day cleanse, 7-day cleanse, or whatever, okay? But you determine whether or not you need a cleanse, right? I highly suggest that you allow your first meals or your first things upon waking up, especially tomorrow, to be liquid. So maybe a smoothie, maybe some water, maybe some coconut water with lime, something that allows you to then cleanse your system and then avoid any kind of, if you can avoid protein, do so, but mostly try to get in water and fiber, or high water content things and fiber, just for your first meal. And then beyond that, you can choose to eat throughout the day, but eat clean. Yes, Yvette, spiritual baths are huge. Try to do a spiritual bath tomorrow, or I'm going to give you guys a timeline of what to do, because I don't want you to try to cram everything into tomorrow. And that's why I promised tonight I'm going to post these slides into the file section of this group so that you have them, okay? Because I want you to do certain things between the 11th and the 12th. November's a fast energy month. This is why we had this eclipse. This is why we then had a full moon right before this portal. It is a fast-paced energy month. It is sweeping out energy before the year ends, for us that believe the year ends in December, right? Because there's some people that they're not on that timeline, right? And so I want you, over the next 2 days, on the 11th and the 12th, slow it down. Be intentional. Take some time to yourself. Be clear about your path forward. On the 13th, 14th, and 15th, I then want you to take some time to yourself. Maybe those are the 3 days that you cleanse, and on the 11th and the 12th, you set the intention to do it, right? You set the intention and you shop, and then you get set up. And then on the 13th, 14th, and 15th, you take some time to yourself. You do your spiritual bath. You do a release bath, right? Right. One of the things, if you're someone who has been attached to people and things that you want to release, or you can feel the energy of other people just kind of on you and things like that, a bath that I almost always do on like a regular basis, or when I'm shifting and I'm kind of releasing someone out of my life, I always do what is called like a cord cutting or an uncrossing bath. And those baths usually have fresh rosemary in them. They usually have fresh lemons in the water as well. Limes are in the water as well. And so this is more of kind of like a tea, right? And you're allowing yourself to then soak in that. And then over the next days after that, you're drying those fruits and the herbs out and putting those back into the planter. You don't want to dump those in the trash. And for some people, they use them on their altar as well to completely sweep out old energy, okay? And this just keeps you from being stagnant, right? If you have your own spiritual bath and your own things that you're doing, it does not have to involve bubbles. It can, to me, I think it should involve plants, herbs, fruits, things like that, right? So rosemary, lime, those things are great for uncrossing, untying, or removing things, people, and stuff that you just don't want to be attached to no more, okay? And so if you have a different intention for the bath, you have to do your due diligence and find out what it is that is supposed to go in the tub, right? And then there are just other things you need to do. You need to bless the water before you get into the tub. There's a lot of different pieces that go into a true spiritual bath. I'm not going to get into that on this live stream, though, all right? But I do want you to eat fresh. I do want you to eat high water content things, nothing processed. Please, please, please avoid processed things if you can. Keep the body systems flowing forward, okay? And in order to do that, you want to get your blood pumping too. So if you're not working out, start working out. All right? Start working out. Start doing something that allows you to sweat. Start doing something that get in the sauna. Do something that allows your blood pressure, not your blood pressure, but your heart rate to start to go up. Do some things to start to move energy out of your body. Move old energy out and welcome 90 energy in, okay? And then you want to make sure that if you have a healthy body, you got a clear mind. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. Food affects how we think. Food affects our mood. We want to make sure that during this time, we're in a good mood. 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 Make sure that you're doing that for yourself. And then, like I said, make sure you get active. Now, here's, like I said, what you need to do over the next few days. 11 to 12. 11th and 12th. You're going to set your intentions and tune into a new timeline. What does your new timeline look like? What are you wanting to accomplish over the next 90 days? What does your new timeline look like? Okay. 11th and 12th, you're going to get clear on that. Use a journal, write it down. Some people may do a 7-day candle ritual, right? For some people, they'll do that. Some people may use a meditation, the same meditation consistently, right? Especially if it's something that you're trying to release. You want to find a kind of meditation and do the same one each time, okay, to get stronger at that meditation. And so on the 13th, 14th, and 15th, the energy starts to slow down as the veil becomes a little bit more thicker. And when that is happening, I want you to still understand that November is a high energy, fast-paced month. So the 13th through the 15th is where you get to slow down before this energy picks up again. And we move through the holidays, and next thing you know, it's Valentine's Day for those of you who celebrate it. But it's Valentine's Day, right? And so you want to make sure that when you are looking at this, that you understand how to use this energy. So on those days, you want to take some time for yourself. All right? You want to slow things down and take some time for yourself. And then, like I said, after the 11th and 12th, you want to make sure that you're looking for the evidence that you shifted timelines, okay? I'm going to run to the comments really quick and get some water. Run to the comments real quick, and then I want to, the last thing I'm going to share with you guys is the active timeline meditation and how to actually do that. So in the comments, Janae says, but you've been meditating and doing yoga a while, a lot more daily. Good. Kiki Clark says, one of my threes listed was exercise, right? Your 3 starts or stops. I hope it was a start. She said she's been walking. Yvette Booker, good. You've been walking. She said, Janae says, I wonder if that's why I haven't had much of an appetite. Could be. A lot of times when we're getting DNA upgrades, a lot of things happen. So some things that you might see, and I hate mentioning these because then people start looking for these instead of like taking care of themselves and the things that they need to take care of. Now, if you know you got other stuff going on and you have these same symptoms, get checked out. Don't play around and kick it like, oh, maybe it's the portal. Stop it. Like, take care of yourself, okay? If it's preventable, go get seen. Go do what you need to do, okay? Now, that being said, if these things just happen to show up, the symptoms may include palpitations. So your heart just might start racing for no reason at all. You could be at rest and it could start racing. And anytime you see these types of symptoms that kind of come on, you just take time and you breathe into it, right? Or you give yourself some different breaths, because your breath is the gateway to get you to a different mood, get you to a different feeling, to get you to a different mindset even, right? And so palpitations is one. Skin rashes of unidentified origin, of unknown origin, right? And like for me, I remember the first time I went through the 1111 portal some years back, and I had this massive rash all over my back and like down the sides of my arms, and I was like, what in the world is that? It was gone within 24 hours. I couldn't even go get seen about. It was gone like that. It was gone. I didn't put anything on it because I didn't know what it was, but it was gone the next day. Some people say that they have headaches to the point where they must lie down. A lot of times these also come on when infinite intelligence is trying to give you a download, and you're someone who's always busy, that you won't sit down, right? So it has a way of getting your attention around these times to then start to pour in new information to you that will upgrade you in humanity. Okay, and so keep these things in mind. Some people feel like they have no appetite. All they want is liquid foods. All of a sudden, things just don't taste the same to them anymore. You're more than likely getting an upgrade. The same cells that got you to this point won't keep you at a higher dimension, right? So they have to be fed differently. And so you might have an appetite all of a sudden for just salads, or you might have an appetite all of a sudden for just green juice, right? Honor that, right? Honor that, okay? In the comments, she says, your body's the gateway. You need water as a conduit. Yes, yes, yes. To keep things fluid, absolutely. High water content, fruits and vegetables. It's a great time to do a cleanse. Excellent time to do a cleanse. If you're in a cold climate, please keep warm. That's the only thing I'll say, because fluids and a lot of fluid during this time and not having hot foods. You can always do broth and soups and things like that to keep you warm. Those can also be cleansing if they're not heavy, okay? So she says, what do your new timelines look like? 13th and 15th, slow down and start to really feel into it. Yep, look for the shifts. Janae says, my energy's been up, but just not a big appetite. Yep. You almost feel invincible around this time, because like I said, ninth dimension is limitless possibilities. So you'll find that you're less of a feeder and more of a person who's in tune. And sometimes you'll find that with being in tune, going forward, you just need to take in a lot less. Right? You just need to take in a lot less, okay? And so Headquarters says, I'm learning a lot. Hey, thank you for being here. Yvette says, some days I'm in bed by 4 p.m. or 7 p.m. listening to my body is vital. Absolutely. That's another thing for some of you guys. You might rise or go to bed late or whatever. You might be up in the middle of the night if there's something trying to come through. If you've ever watched anything that I've done like back in the day, I tell you, when you get these unctions, get up and ask the question, what can I do? What do you need? What's next for me? Because there's usually a message trying to come through for you, and you've just been busy. Infinite intelligence, God, the universe is always trying to bring information to us that will begin to advance this planet through us. But we are so busy working, doing, moving, looking at ads, buying stuff, celebrating, hanging out. We're so busy doing everything except listening. And so it tries to catch us up in our dreams with things that are familiar to us. It tries to catch us up with waking us up in the middle of the night. It tries to catch us up in so many different ways. So when these opportunities happen, when these things happen for you, you want to ask the question, what do you need from me? What are you trying to share with me? What are you trying to tell me? Okay? And listen. Just listen. It may not come through immediately, but just listen. Sometimes it just wants an acknowledgement that you're open. Right? And then you'll start to kind of see things happen. And I'm going to tell you, things happen so rapidly, you guys. It happens so rapidly with you just as you are. Right? With you not having to go out of your way, not having to hustle, it just happens so organically and automatically for you. Okay? Now, let me see. She says, today literally had 3 hours of sleep. Yep. All right. So really quickly, let me take a sip. All right. So really quickly, we're going to go over what an active timeline meditation looks like. Now, like I said, in this group, I think if you, search active meditation, you'll get one that I did like way back when. Oh man, it was like maybe 2017, 2015, something like that. But it's in this group, so it's here, so you have access to it, and you can watch that. And I actually walk you through how to actually do the meditation. Today, I'm just gonna tell you kind of how to do it. So the first thing you want to do is review your intentions. You want to review your intentions before you meditate, and this is whether or not you're doing. There's so many different kinds of meditations. The whole goal, how many of you in this group are watching this live stream right now, you know how to meditate and you know how to get deep in meditation every single time? You don't miss. How many of you know how to go up? How many of you know how to immediately go up? Meaning you sit down, right? Take a few deep breaths and you're there. How many of you know how to do that? How many of you know how to get there really quick and you don't miss? Very few people know how, especially if you're someone who's always like connected and to other people, right? Raise your hand in the comments. If you do not, say, I do not know how to, or I don't know. Put that in the comments. She said, so far I've been doing very good and I just started. Okay, great. Great, great, great. Someone says, I want to learn. Hey, Jasmine. Okay. What about everyone else? She says, I have the ability, Erica. Excellent. Charlene says, I do not yet. I don't know. I don't know. Regina says, I don't know how. I don't know how. Great. All right. So we're going to talk about how right now. Okay. So one of the things you have to understand with meditation is going to give you access to parts of your mind that you wouldn't normally get access to. The reason you want access to parts of your mind is because it's the mind that shifts how you feel, and how you feel is what you're manifesting every day, all day, right? And it's not, oh, I'm happy right now, so I'm manifesting something happy. No, it's kind of the comprehensive mood that you're always in. Okay, if you're and I have to say this, I feel like I'm in a relationship. My partner is genuinely a happy person. Genuinely, he's a happy person. I have to say that, right? And I think it's because he's intentional about being happy. I really do. It's refreshing. I think he's very intentional about being happy. He's just genuinely a happy person. And so that person, if they are able to get into meditation properly, they can quickly manifest, because they know that the thing they want to manifest it will also bring some happiness and joy to their lives. So if they can quickly get themselves to a higher state in meditation, they can hasten the manifestation of the thing that they want, because it's the feeling that drives what you receive in manifestation. It is always the feeling that drives what you receive. And so for some people, they can't get themselves, it's challenging to get themselves deep enough, long enough in a meditation, right? So that they can then begin to shift how they feel and let it stick in their day-to-day life, okay? So here's how you do that. Your breath is the gateway. I don't care how you're feeling, where you are, what you heard. Breath is the gateway for the human being. Breath is the only thing in our bodies that we have control over, but we don't have control over. It is the only thing in our bodies that we can control, but it's not up to us to control it. If you stop breathing, your brain's going to breathe for you. Your brain's going to trigger you to take a breath, right? Or it's going to attempt to trigger you to breathe, to keep life going in your body. You also have the ability on your own to breathe faster, shallower, deeper, longer, or even hold your breath. Breath cessation. You have the ability to do that. It's the only thing attributed to the human being that we can also use to access higher consciousness. It's the only thing that does that. Everything else is either voluntary or involuntary. Breath is the only thing that is both. It's the only thing attributed to us as higher consciousness beings that is both. And because it is both, you use it as your gateway to higher consciousness. Okay? Now, how do you do that? So if you're still trying to sit down and quiet your mind and do all this, man, please, breath is the gateway. Breath is the gateway. Now, there is a technique called the Wim Hof technique, WIMHOF. And you guys will get the slides so that you can see what to do. At the very least, you do 25 breath cycles in and out, right? Just basic breathing. As deep as you can go and exhale everything out. As deep as you can go and exhale everything out. And it is a rhythm that's more like this. 25 cycles. 25 cycles. You'll start to feel your head clear up. You'll start to feel yourself access your brain, and you'll start to feel yourself go into your higher consciousness. Now, tomorrow, when you do this Wim Hof technique, I want you to try to get 45 to 50 breaths in. The last breath that you do, I want you to breathe in, all the way in, and then I want you to hold it. One thing you're going to find, if you've never been able to hold your breath for this extended period of time, if you say, I can only hold my breath for 30 seconds, when you do about 45, 50 breaths, you're going to be able to hold it for about 5 minutes. That's where you go up. That's where you access your higher consciousness. The hold is where the magic happens. Synchronizing the breath is what gets you there. And when you hold your breath, that is when you can see. That is when you allow your third eye not to open up, but because it's always open, you just have to acknowledge it and start using it. That is when you can see. That is where you can hear. That is where you can understand who you truly are. The breath is what drives this. Okay? So you ain't got to be sitting there on some app trying to clear up your head. Get high off of your breath. And in the hold is where the magic happens. Got it? When you do Wim Hof, you want to do this in 3 rounds. You can get 3 rounds done in 5 minutes, and you will be in a complete meditative state in less than 5 minutes. You will never miss. You will never miss, because breath is the gateway. You'll never miss. You can sit there and try to get your brain to go blank and get yourself in meditation. You may eventually get there, but breath, the thing that is involuntary and voluntary, and the only thing that allows us to access higher consciousness, breath is what gets you there. Okay? And you will never miss. As long as you can breathe, you can go up. As long as you can breathe, you can clear your head up to manifest. As long as you can breathe, you can do this every day and change the way you feel and change what you're manifesting. You will never miss. I promise you that. You need to at least do 25 breaths. Tomorrow I want you to try to push it to 40, in and out. Last breath, breathe all the way in, hold it for as long as you can. Hold it for as long as you can. And you will immediately feel how you're supposed to feel. And you're going to say, wow. Wow. If you've never had access to your higher consciousness regularly, you're going to feel something when you do this. Okay? And then I want you to breathe all the way out. Let it all the way out. Go ahead and breathe normally for a little while. Right? And then I want you to go into round 2. Okay? I want you to go into round 2. And so, for some people, they like to involve other parts of their body. So when they're doing that breath cycle, they like to raise their hands up and down. They like to do this. It gets you there a lot faster. For some people, they like to, like open their chest and close their chest and open their chest and close their chest. They like to get some other part of their bodies involved, and you'll get there a whole lot faster. And you'll be able to do a much longer cycle. So instead of you doing a 25 breath cycle, you'll be able to do like a 60 breath cycle. You'll be able to do this for a very long time, right? When you involve other parts of your body, right? And so you want to be clear on your intentions first before you do this meditation. Let me run through this. Number 1, review your intentions. I can't say that enough, because this is what you're going to be thinking about when you go into this technique. Wim Hof is just one technique, right? There's transcendental meditation. There's so many different ways to manifest, okay? There's so many different ways to go high, to get into your higher consciousness. And you access this anywhere, anytime you want to. Anytime you need answers, you need guidance, this is what you should be doing. Okay? Regina says, does one breath include in and out? Yes, one breath cycle includes in and out. That's one cycle, right? And you want to keep going with it, right? You're not holding it. You're not pausing in between. You want to keep going with it, okay? And then on the last breath, you're going to take in as much as you can and hold it, okay? You're going to immediately feel like everything in your head just kind of opens up. Got it? You're welcome. Anyone else with any other questions about that? Now's the time to put that in the comments, okay? What you want to be clear on is your intentions before you do this, right? And then you want to start to begin to see, after you're done with the 3rd breath cycle, if you can get there. Now, don't try to be a hero if you can't get there. If the first one makes you so lightheaded that you can't concentrate on anything, stop, breathe regularly, and then try it again later, or try it with just 2 rounds. But if you can do at least 25 breaths for 3 rounds, that will get you there. The more cycles you can do, meaning 40 breaths per cycle in 3 rounds, that's 120 breaths, right? If you can get that done, you'll be able to do that in less than 5 minutes. And in less than 5 minutes, you will be in a deep meditative state. Deep meditative state, okay? And in that state, you want to be clear on the timeline that you're focusing on, right? So what I want you to start to do, because now what you're doing is taking back control of the mind so that you can begin to think towards the thing that you want. You're blocking out everything else that usually distracts you, and now you have the opportunity to think on exactly the thing that you want. Got it? And in this, you can think limitlessly, and you usually will. When you're up in your higher consciousness, you can think limitlessly, okay? Now, the beautiful thing about this is you can do this sitting in your bed. You can do it sitting in a chair. It doesn't matter. But you do need to be sitting, and your spine does need to be straight, okay? And then beyond that, I want you to make sure that you imagine this 1111 gateway tomorrow. You're walking through this gateway. I want you to be clear on what's behind you, what you're leaving behind, and I want you to be clear. You can stand and do this as well. I don't suggest it because some people start to wobble. I don't suggest standing, but you can. As long as you got a chair or something right there with you, you can. But I want you to be clear on what you see. I want you to imagine that gateway. However, whatever that gate looks like to you, I want you to imagine it during your meditation time. And then during that time, I want you to be able, in your meditative thought, look forward through the gate before you walk through it, because you're going to walk through it in this meditation. Look forward and see what's on the other side of that gate. What are you trying to manifest? Who is over there? What is over there? Got it? I don't want you to imagine yourself over there, because you're going to actively walk through that gate in this meditation. What is over there? What do you see that you don't have right now? What evidence over there are you going to look for when your timeline shifts? You're looking for all the little subtle things that could happen, that could show up, that are on the other side of that gate you're getting ready to subconsciously walk through. Got it? And so you're going to look through, and then you're going to look back. And you're going to look at, I need you to see the differences. I need you to be clear on what the differences are. Is the sun shining over there and it's not over here? Right? Who's over there that's not over here on the other side of your manifestation? Does that make sense? Let me know that this makes sense in the comments. You're going to be in your higher consciousness at this time. You have complete control over your mind. So you will be able to do this. Look forward, look back, and compare. Look forward, look back, and compare. And then I want you to consciously look at yourself. Look at yourself up and down in your mind. Are you standing at the gate? And I want you to put one foot through the gate, one leg through the gate, and one on the other side. And I want you to feel yourself step through and see what that feels like to you in your mind during this meditation. I want you to see yourself step through this gate and think about how that feels to you. And then, as if you're stepping through a television screen, I want you to step through that gate, both feet on the other side. And then I want you to see as if there's something blocking your ability to turn back. There's something blocking, like a screen or something, that you cannot go back through on the other side. However you imagine that and however it shows up for you, I want you to try to imagine it that way, okay? And then I want you to look forward and see yourself walking into or walking toward or actively being a part of whatever that new manifestation is for you on the other side of that gate, okay? And I want you to engage your senses after you walk through this gate, walk through this portal. I want you to engage your senses. What do you hear? What do you see? Do you smell anything? Right? What are you actively aware of during this time? Engage your senses in all of this. Okay? Because I want you to feel into it and begin. Your feelings And what you feel into this, your senses, are what will activate this for you. What will activate this for you, okay? And I want you to do this. I want you to do it on the 11th and the 12th. But I especially want you to do it tomorrow. See yourself go through that gate. And if you're someone who is someone that kind of goes back and forth about things and you're not real sure and you need a lot more information and things like that, try not to do that tomorrow, right? I want you to be clear before you do this, right? Try not to like, try not to be so wayward tomorrow, right? Be clear on it before you even start it. Be clear on it. And then I want you, if you're someone that kind of goes back and forth with this, or goes back and forth with things in like your regular life, I want you to step back. And I want you to be able to review the entire timeline of your life. You will have access to your higher consciousness. So you'll be able to literally float above where you are and look down at the timeline of your life and say, I am here. My adversities were here. My triumphs were here. My big win is right here on the other side of this gate. Like you can see the timeline. And then I want you to literally float yourself down into the advanced portion of that timeline. The portion of the timeline where you're going to what you're going to manifest. You have the ability to do that. Seat yourself right down into that, whatever that situation is, whatever that manifestation is you're looking for, right? This is how you jump, and this is how you then take possession of that part of your timeline, that part of your life, and then you start looking for the evidence that you've jumped timelines where you currently are in your life. Because it's going to look the same way for some time until all of the different pieces take effect. And you will slowly start to move into that new timeline over the next few months, over the next 30 days, 90 days or so. For some of you, it may be fast. If you're someone that's been doing a lot of spiritual work and you've been trying to manifest things and you've been on the wavelength of manifestation over this year, it can happen like that for you. Because tomorrow's the day for it, And for those of you who still feel like, I'm afraid to ask for what I want to ask for. I'm afraid to let go. You want to be clear on what it is you're leaving behind. And you want to make sure that as you look back, because tomorrow, and you take inventory of what you're leaving behind. Don't just scan it. Don't just like scan past it. Take inventory. I'm leaving that because of this. I'm leaving that because of this. I no longer need that because of this. I will no longer do that because on that side, on the side of me walking through the gate, I no longer need to do that. And so it's important that when you do this, you understand all these pieces. And it's a lot. We've covered a lot tonight. I'll leave the slides in the group for you guys so that you have it. And then if you have questions about anything, you can put them underneath this video. At the end of this, I want you to step into your new reality. You do that in meditation. Step into your new reality. And then every day following that, do a meditation that only allows you to envision yourself living, working, playing in whatever your manifestation is. Take a few minutes every day to do this Wim Hof, because you don't miss. You don't miss if you use breath. You never miss if you use breath. If you're using some other technique, if it works for you, great. Keep using it. Wim Hof, for everybody else who can't get there, it'll get you there quick. You won't miss ever with using the Wim Hof technique. She said, do you think that bipolar conditions can be affected to repair during this portal? I have a whole different understanding of like bipolar and different things, but the person can submit themselves into one side or the other, or like say if someone struggles with like bipolar, I guess they are one way at some point and then another way at another point. Sometimes, not all the time, that can be affected by past lives and things they need to finish up. But I don't want to get into that. But during this time, they can cement themselves into, and this is not just with bipolar, this is with anything that's like ailing a person. You can see on the other side of that gate or that portal that you're getting ready to walk through that you are a healed person, that you have put off the thing that you're, and this is why it's important to write down the 3 things you won't ever do again, because you can't take that through the gate. And when you do your meditation, you're assessing those 3 things. These 3 gonna stay on this side. These 3 I see myself doing over there. So you want to be clear on this assessment before you do this. I cannot stress that enough. And you want things to be quiet while you're doing this so that you can focus on this. But anything that ails a person, they can drop off tomorrow. There may be a portion of your timeline in the future where you no longer have certain issues. You can drop. The human being is so powerful. Good Lord. The human being is so powerful. You can drop off anything you want. Nothing stops you in the 9th dimension, especially in that energy. Nothing stops us. Nothing. Right? So it doesn't matter what it is tomorrow, you have the opportunity to go right on through. But that person has to believe that that portion, that person, that part of them exists. They have to be able to lay eyes on it. And sometimes they can't do that when they're pulled in a bunch of different directions. They can't do that. It's impossible. It's impossible. Tomorrow they get an opportunity to do that, right? And Mama Earth knows that it's impossible for a lot of people down here. This is why we have these opportunities. And so you want to take note of what you see, hear, and feel on both sides. Review your entire timeline. Right? If you're someone who goes back and forth, then you need to review you need to float up in your consciousness, in your higher consciousness, and look down like you're watching your life in your entire timeline. And then I want you to zoom back in to the portion of the timeline out where you've manifested what you want. Okay? Gave you your 3 things to focus on. Excellent. And then I think the last thing here is to step all the way in through the gate. And like I said, when you step through, I want you to look back and see like a screen or something that comes down between you and what you're walking into and what you're leaving behind. I want you to be able to see there to be a divide. I want you to imagine that divide tomorrow. And that cements you into that new timeline. That's how you go through this portal tomorrow. You do it through meditation, okay? But you gotta have an effective way of meditating that will get you there every time, okay? All right. Any questions in the comments as we finish up, you guys? Let me see here. She said, I look forward to stepping into my new reality. Yes, you do. Regina, yes, indeed. Thank you for sharing that. Shanti says, yes, I need this knowledge. I'm so glad. She says, why am I nervous? Jasmine, why are you nervous? Shamika Driver, hey, she says, I'm excited to wake up tomorrow at 11:11. I'm ready for it. Yeah, so it opens tonight at midnight. And we've been in this energy, like I said, 7 days before it opens, and we'll be in this energy 7 days after. So for some of you, you can get off this live stream and start to use that energy, or start to prepare and now that you know what to do what you're supposed to do, okay? She says, I'm feeling a little off-center while writing the instructions. I can only imagine how much power will be available tomorrow. Take your time. Take your time. Hey, Michelle Greenrose. Chandra Wilson says, be clear on what the differences you see and who is over with you. Yeah, that's the one thing I want to stress. You want to see if you are someone with children, parents, family members, things like that, significant others, you need to see them on that other side, right? Who is it that teaches this? He teaches it very, very well. Not Earl Nightingale. It's Neville Goddard. Nevillegoddard. Neville Goddard teaches this very, very well. And he teaches that you can see yourself, the mind must imagine itself in the end for it to then take possession of that new state, right? Any state that you can imagine, you can take possession of. So you don't have to just, if you could imagine yourself driving a certain car or walking through a certain place or getting a certain deal or doing something with your family, if you could imagine it, the human being can actually possess that state. Like you can walk into that state. When you're thinking about this though, you have to be clear that you see the other people that are in your life on the other side with you, okay? And he goes in depth about what happens if you don't see them over there. It's almost like you're wishing them away, right? So you want to be very clear on who you see on the other side, right? You get to decide who it is, but you want to be clear that the people that you love and the people who support you are also over there with you when you manifest this. So you're going to be thinking through what that manifestation looks like and feels like for you, okay? All right, I'm going to get ready to hop off. This has been amazing, you guys. Let me know if you got something out of this. Yvette says, thank you, Empress. Shanti, hey, she says, amazing information. Kiki says, I have my 3 teens watching this as well. Hey, beautiful children. Regina says, I am both excited and nervous about this new journey. Yeah, just take your time. Hey, 2-word check-in for Legacy, for sure. She says, I'm glad I didn't miss this live. Bless you, Miss That Corner. Jasmine Nicole, you are very welcome. Listen, it's been a pleasure sharing time and space with you before this portal opens up. Now you know how to access it. So once I hop off of here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make sure this video stays, and I'm going to pin it to the top of the group. For those of you who want to invite other people to this group, you can simply post LegacyWellnessTribe.com on your timeline, and they can click that link, and it'll pop them right into this group, and it'll be right at the top for them, okay? If you have anyone in your network that you feel like missed it and they need the information, you can post that LegacyWellnessTribe.com, and it'll put them in here. And so I'll make sure you guys get the slides. If you could, send in love and light. Thank you, Suzanne, for starting it off. Please send love and light to somebody in this tribe. Choose a name. Choose a name, y'all. Choose a name. Love is the highest vibration. Choose a name and send somebody love and light in the comments here before you hop off. And then take your time with this. There's a lot of learning in this. Once you learn how to do it with this first portal, you will know how to do it with every portal, okay? And you can almost feel it before it even opens up, okay? That being said, I'm going to go ahead and hop off, you guys. Have an incredible evening and a beautiful portal transcending tomorrow and in the days ahead, okay? If you encounter things over these next couple of days, y'all, make sure you post what you encounter here in the tribe, especially as your DNA starts to get an upgrade. She says, yeah, so make sure you post it here in the tribe, okay? All right, have an incredible night ahead, you guys.